What's up guys, GK here with Corbin's Archery, and I have the brand new Mathews Arc, their new bow for 2026, 2 different axle to axles. Let's go over the specs of both of them, highlight some of the new features, and then we'll head to the range and shoot it. Let's start with the longer one. This is going to be the Mathews Arc 34. The 34 is going to be the new axle to axle measurement with 6.5-inch brace height, an already super forgiving, super stable platform that they came out with. Average rating IBO of 343 feet a second, 55 to 80 pound draw weight range, 80 to 85% let off. The draw length adjustment is going to go from 26.5 all the way up to 32. So your longer draw length guys, you can get a little bit more out of this bow, which is awesome there. The Arc 34 is also going to be coming in at a physical weight of 4.3 pounds. They've made a longer axle to axle and still kept it under 4.5 pounds. Insane amount of redesigning they've done on the riser, which we'll touch base on here in a second, but 4.3 pounds for the Arc 34. They've increased the price, made it $1569 bare bow. They have a ton of new features that we'll go over when I'm talking about the 30 in a second, but the new 34 is going to be their more stable, longer axle to axle platform. Let's go over all the new features with the 30 and hit that spec as well. All right, now I got the Mathews Arc 30. It's a 30-inch axle to axle bow with a 6-inch brace height, hitting an IBO speed of 348. Weighing in at 3.9 pounds, 55 to 80 pound draw weight adjustment, 80 to 85% let off with a draw length adjustment of 25 inches all the way to 30.5. Priced at $1459 bare bow. This is a sweet, shorter, more compact axle to axle with a good stable platform, but a little bit more speed added to it on that shorter axle to axle. Tons of new features, tons of things they've changed besides the axle to axle measurement. They have come out with a new cam, the Switchweight X2 cam. It still will take the Switchweight X mods, so any of the mods from the Lift X will still work on this bow here. But a cool new feature is the Switchweight X Z mod. This Z mod is going to be more of a comfort setting, more of a smoother draw cycle, a little bit deeper curve in the mod, so it feels like a little bit smoother draw cycle as it breaks over and settles into that back wall. So a really cool feature there. Also, they machined a ton out of this new riser design. They have machined everything they possibly can out of it. They even made a new integrated SCS, the Silent Connect system, where you can run your rope or run your Mathews bow sling onto that Connect system versus back in the older one, you had to mount them with 2 screws and it kind of sat on top of that limb cup there. Speaking of the limb cup, they have redesigned the limb cup and the limb geometry, made them a little bit more suitable for this riser, a redesigned limb cup here. So with that, brand new Mathews Arc limb legs. Now these limb legs sit a little bit higher, a little bit more off the ground, and the feet are a little bit wider for a more stable base there. Also, you might be thinking I'm holding this bow kind of down the whole time. I'm not. This is a 7-degree angled bridge lock stabilizer. So they have figured a way to turn the best stabilizer in the archery business into an angled integrated bridge lock stabilizer, which is awesome. This stabilizer is going to come in 3 different lengths, 10, 12, 15 inches with that 7-degree down. And also, speaking of stabilizers, a new integrated back bar or V-bar mount that runs right into the riser and mounts, so it's moving a little bit more integrated, moving everything in. They have taken a lot of machining to this riser, cutting a lot of it out, but one thing I noticed right out of the gate were these new index spots here. This new index spot is great for me personally, just because when I grip it, I like to curl my fingers and index something. I've ran tape before. I've even ran, something like a nose button type deal. But with this new design here, I can now just curl my fingers into that, index it, and get a nice stable and consistent grip on this bow. So tons of cool new features, tons of things they've changed. Also, you may have noticed this is a brand new color. It doesn't just look dark because of this cool lighting that we're in. This is the new Kodiak brown color. Super clean. It's kind of like a coffee brown. I'm digging it. It is a great color, a little bit darker brown color. I think they needed something like that. I'm a real big fan. I think it's going to pop this year. Tons of cool features. I don't understand how they keep coming out with this or what ideas they keep hitting, but awesome stuff there. Still gonna be the same low pro detach or fixed quiver system as well. Still with your bridge lock sight where you can mount that in. All good things here on the new bow. Still have the awesome limb shift technology. The Lift X last year was the easiest to tune bow by far. I'm sure the Arc will be just as easy, if not easier. So tons of awesome specs, tons of cool new features. One more thing I have failed to mention, if you look up here, this doesn't pertain a lot to customers, but as well as seeing where your timing marks are, they have 2 new timing holes on these cams. So that tells you kind of how your timing is looking, or if it might be out of whack and you need to run to the bow shop and get that checked out. Typically they run right through the center of it. It's not mean that it's perfect, but it means you're pretty close. So good way to tell if your timing's still in sync or not. But tons of cool features on this bow. Enough talking about it. Let's get back in the range, shoot it with the regular mods on it, and then let's shoot it with the easy draw cycle mods on it and see what speed we have. But I'm done talking. I can't wait to shoot this thing. Let's go back. All right, guys, got the Mathews Arc 30. Let me see if it's at 70 pounds right quick, and then we're gonna shoot a few arrows, get a speed on it, and then we're gonna talk about how this new bow feels. 69.8, that is close enough to 70 in my book. So we're gonna leave her right there. All right, we got the Mathews Arc 30 at 70 pounds, 28.5 inches on the draw, 450 grain arrow, just a real deal hunting setup. Let's shoot a few, get a speed, then let's talk about it. Arrow 1, 291.5. I had this cooking. Arrow 2 here. 289, so about a 290 average. One more. $289.5 again. I'm gonna call it a 290 average. So this thing is cooking. Draw cycle, very similar to the Lift X, but when you shoot this thing, you feel that little extra oomph into it. I mean, you feel some speed. Still very dead in the hand, which I have some stabilizers on it. I mean, you're gonna run a bow rigged out anyway, so that's what I like to practice and feel with, but super dead. Love the stability of this 30. Now it's only a 1/2 inch longer than the 29.5, but that 1/2 inch makes a difference. And with this, just a hair more stable. That Switchway X2 cam with still the Switchway X mods are awesome. I'm ready to try out the Switchway XZ, which is supposed to be a smoother draw cycle, a little bit easier to pull back, a little bit better curve and valley on that draw cycle there. So I bet we sacrifice a little bit of speed, but with this, feels very similar to the Lift or the Lift X, but you just feel like you got a little bit more oomph behind it. So really solid, great riser design. Really digging it. Now I want to go try that smoother mod just to see what my speed looks like and go from there. Let's go swap them out. All right, got the Arc 30. Make sure we're pulling 70 with the new Z mods. 69.5, that's close enough, I think. All right, let's shoot a few right quick out of the Mathews Arc 30 with the new Switchway Z mods. Again, this is probably going to be a smoother draw cycle. Specs, we got 28.5 inches, 69.5 pounds, 450 grain arrow. Let's shoot a few, get an average, and then we'll talk about the shot. .283.2, 283.4, 282. I'm gonna call that 283 average with the Switchway Z mods. Again, that's the smoother draw cycle. Let me just tell you, that is a lot smoother than the normal limbs. It is for a second there, it felt like I was shooting an old solo cam, as crazy as that sounds. Really smooth, really good back wall. I don't feel like I'm pulling 70. This is a lot smoother mod with still a great respectable speed, 283 feet a second, got a 28.5 inches, 450 grain arrow. That's cooking. That's still great. And for a draw cycle to feel like that, I mean, felt like an old solo cam again. So a lot smoother than the regular mod, a little bit slower, but still a nice, comfortable draw cycle and a good, respectable speed. All right, got the Mathews Arc 34. Let's just make sure that we're pulling 70.0. All right, got the Mathews Arc 34, 70 pounds on the dot, 28.5 inches on the draw, 450 grain arrow, 85% let off of the regular Switchweight X mods there. So full speed test right here. Arrow 1. $279.9. Let's round it up to 280 there. 280. Ooh, a little jumper on that, 283. I'm gonna give it a I'm gonna say 280, 281 average there. Really good, respectable speed out of a 34-inch axle-to-axle bow. Draw cycle feels similar. It's the same mods, different cam, but still the same Switchweight X mods. If anything, slightly smoother than Lift X last year, but it doesn't feel like an inch longer bow. Feels really solid, feels very similar to the 33. Love that indexing in the riser there and how they machined it. And it's got a more, I don't know, it's like a dull, quieter sound when you shoot it. I don't know if you can hear that on the audio, but it's definitely a little bit quieter, a little bit faster. Digging that speed. That's a good speed out of 28.5 inches, 450 grain arrow. Now, I don't have the Z mods for the smoother draw cycle on this bow in this draw length. So based off what we saw with the 30, the Z will be just maybe slightly slower, but still great options there if you want a little bit more speed or if you want a little bit more comfort. Good idea there as well, with an awesome limb shift technology that's easy to tune. So many things you can do with these bows nowadays, and Mathews just keeps coming out with great stuff. All right, guys, that's the Mathews Arc 30 and 34, brand new flagship bows for 2026. These things are killers. Tons of variety, tons of adjustment. Love the new riser design. Love the EZ cam. That thing feels awesome. Kind of takes you back to the solo cam days. But a lot of speed. Mathews doing a lot of great stuff engineering-wise with their accessories. They've kind of always led the game there. But these bows are just getting better and better, and I don't understand how they keep doing it. And that goes for all companies across the board. So tons of good bows out there. Shoot them all. Shoot what you like the best. We all like certain things and want a bow to feel a certain way. But come by any of our 3 locations. We have tons of different bows to test. Let us know what you think. If you got any questions, let us know. Tons of good bows for 2026, and the Arc is right at the top of the list. Thanks, guys.